Hi boys and girls, it is a beautiful day. We've had a lot of really beautiful days, and this week I thought, wouldn't it be perfect to have our art lesson be outside? And all of our art lessons are going to be outside, so there's only one video for this week. If you're not interested in doing an outside art project, then you can use this time this week to catch up on another art project that you may not have finished or that you were really interested in trying. There's so many of them in my classroom under all the different other topics. It says other art lessons, and you look under there, there's tons of them. So I'm actually in my backyard right now. I walked around my backyard and I did the first thing that you're going to need to do. I looked for some natural materials. What's a natural material? Something from nature, right? So behind me I have some nice woods. I found a ton of different things in the right along the edge of the woods, but there are some things you have to be careful for. You need to watch out for poison ivy, and you need to make sure that it's okay with your mom or your dad or whoever you live with, that you're going in the woods if you have woods in your backyard. If you're going hiking and you want to do this project during a hike, I mean, you could do this at any time, anywhere. You could have the smallest yard and find such beautiful things to use for this art project. So I looked through. I definitely have poison ivy in my yard, so I want you to make sure that you watch out for it, okay? So I'm looking right now down here. Sometimes it looks like it could be poison ivy. My guess is if you think it might be, don't touch it, don't sit in it, don't pick it, and then you won't get a rash, okay? So over here, I'm going to set you up. I have gathered some things as I walked through my yard and along the wood line, and I found some different things. Look at this awesome stick I found. I'm going to set you up right here, and here we go. So I found this stick right here. This stick I love. I got to back up. It's kind of big. I love this stick because it was like this beautiful curve. I was just walking along and there it was. So I'm thinking about, where am I going to make my sculpture, my nature art made from nature? I have to decide what I'm going to use, but where am I going to build it? Building it in a certain place, I think, is just as important as finding the right materials. Yeah, you could build this in the middle of your front yard. You could build this on your staircase or your deck. But is that the best place for it? This is a work of art, and it's a work of art made out of nature and natural materials. So really, I think it's important you find just the right location. Some of the images you'll see in my documents, or if you search Andy Goldsworthy, who's one of the most famous nature artists out there, Google him. He makes so many beautiful installations in nature, and I think you'll be very impressed with the things he's done. So I brought a bag with me, and I went around and I just picked up things off the ground. It's better for nature if you're not ripping the plants apart, but if you're, if your parents say it's okay to pick some dandelions, or maybe you have a huge garden and you have beautiful plants or leaves or rocks in there, you may want to ask permission to say, hey, can I grab some of these plants and pick them? Or you can find plenty of things on the ground, especially if you're in the woods, okay? So what did I gather? I gathered mostly dandelions. One of Andy Goldsworthy's works of art really inspired me for this project. So it's a line along a tree branch, and it was made entirely out of dandelion heads. So here's some dandelions. I have an abundance of them in my yard. So, this is my yard. So I said, well, I can pick these, and this is okay. Plus, there's so many of them right now. I didn't want to pick them all because the bees really like them, and bees are very important. But I'm going to go ahead and start designing my creation using this awesome curvy stick. I love this thing. Do I want it to stand up? Do I want it to lay down? I'm not really sure yet. I have to play with it and see, but I really enjoy the shape of this, and I want to do something really special with it. And then with these dandelions, I grabbed a whole bunch of them. They give you this really beautiful bright color. So when you're collecting your materials, think about some artist things like color. Think about line. That's a curvy line, right? Maybe you want to create a zigzag or a wave out of sticks or rocks and then add color to them. Do you want pattern in there? There's so many art things that we can do by taking natural materials and putting them and arranging them in a very specific and intentional way. These actually are the dandelion stems. I really like them. I think they're a little bit interesting in their shape because they're very smooth. They're not like a branch. They have just a different type of texture to them, and I think they give you a nice curvy line that I think I can do something with. Plus they're a little bendy, so you know, if you want to play around with tying them, twisting them, weaving them, you'll want something that's a little bit more flexible, maybe like a tall grass or a long leaf from a daffodil, something like that. So I grabbed a bunch of those, and the last thing that I grabbed, oh, I did grab the dandelion heads off of those stems. These are when you get the little blowy, fluffy ball on the top of your dandelion. These are the ends of them. I liked that they had little circles, and I thought that could be a nice little detail piece that I could use in my nature art. So I have all my materials. Like I said, I'm not really sure exactly what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm inspired by lines. So I'm definitely gonna do something that has a linear quality to it, and do something with the colors. I also grabbed 2 brand new maple leaves. These are from a big maple tree in my yard. I just grabbed 2 because they are brand new. I felt kind of bad for picking them, but I asked the tree permission and it said, yes, be nice to your nature, okay? And I tried to find 2 on the branches that were almost identical. I thought I could do something with symmetry here where one side is the same as the other. So I'm thinking like an artist. I'm thinking about art words, and artists are always thinking about how to intentionally put something together. The last thing are these. These are actually from violets, but I really like the shape of the leaf. They're a heart shape, isn't that cool? And I grabbed a whole bunch of these. I have violets all over my yard as well. When the lawnmower comes by, they all get chopped up. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take some violet leaves as well. And I grabbed a lot of these. I think I grabbed 20 of these. So now that I have my materials, I'm gonna go ahead and start building. I do need 2 rocks, and I have them right here. So let me grab them. Here's 1 rock. 2 rocks. Actually, I think I need 2 more. Okay. All right, I have my 4 rocks. I have my important setting. This really beautiful natural background I think is gonna look really nice when I'm all finished. So I think what I am gonna do is stand this up. When you're all done, I think I might even need to figure out how to get this to balance. Maybe these rocks will help me hold it up. Oh, it's already standing. Look at that. Just a couple of rocks really help. Be careful, I don't wanna break this really beautiful curvy stick that I have here. I can play around with things hanging. Ooh, these dandelion stems are gonna work great for tying. You have to be very careful if you're tying something. You don't want it to end up tearing or breaking. Oh, look at that, isn't that neat? If you can see that, let me see if I can move this closer so you can see how I hung it. See, I just tied it right here, and then it's hanging down like that. Pretty cool, huh? And then as I hang these, I can continue to think about pattern, design. I also think I'd like to play around with the rocks as well, and this setting at the bottom right here. So there's the rocks. I have 2 rocks here. I have this crease in the middle, and an artist would definitely think about all those different parts. You know, nothing is, oops, there it is. I don't care about that. Artists care about everything with their work. So I've just added some symmetry. It's kind of big and hard to see the whole thing, huh? See if I can get that, sorry, back a little more. There you go. Okay, and I think for my last piece, I'm gonna get these extra sticks out of the way. I found these in the grass. I don't want those there for my masterpiece. I'm gonna add some different elements to make this really spectacular work of art. Maybe I'll tie a couple of these together till they reach the ground. That'd be interesting, right? And I'm thinking in 3 dimensions. This isn't a drawing, right? It's 3-dimensional. So I'm thinking about how am I going to use this open space that I just created because of this arch. And I have all my dandelions that I have to set up in a certain way. So I think I'll use that line that Andy Goldsworthy loved so much in one of his works. And I can put these very carefully in a certain order, in a certain direction. So there you have it. I could spend all day doing this. I love building art out of nature. I think it's a really interesting and also free way of making art, because this didn't cost me a penny. The problem that you do have to note before you get started is that this is made out of nature. There is no glue, there's no scissors, there's no nails. Wind, rain are gonna come and wash this away eventually. You know, it might happen right away, it might happen a week from now. It'll be interesting. You'll have to let me know how long yours lasts. But get a picture of it before it disappears so that you can remember it always. And have a wonderful time, boys and girls. Bye.